Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 9 of Squad Pod Sports. We got a very special episode for you today. We got fellow sports podcaster JON SHEARER on the show. So we want to have him, big welcome for him today. He's going to be talking through a lot of the football news and scores, and we're going to be talking about the playoffs. Stanley Cup Finals is over now. We're going into the finals of the NBA. So, welcome, John. John, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. Thank you for having me on your show. It's an honor. I appreciate it. Anytime somebody has me on their show, I always appreciate you having me. So thank you first and foremost.
We appreciate you being here.
Yeah, I appreciate it,
Yeah,
man.
of course. I'm always willing to take time out of the day to be on another person's show. So a little bit about myself. Podcaster for over 5 years now. Started out a Baltimore Orioles show, turned into a Orioles and Hershey Bears, and NFL and pro wrestling, which is not pro wrestling anymore. So we had that. And then a couple months ago, back at the beginning of July, I just started a new show, Journey with the Jays, which is up and rolling. We're going to be on the radio in Atlanta, Real 1100 a.m. Thursdays from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern time. Soon we'll be on there, so you can check that out, download that app. Like I said, aspiring journalist, talk to, like I told you guys earlier, talk to agents and former players and current players. I'm in all kinds of sports, Olympians, basketball players, football players,
Wow,
MLB
man.
players. Beginning of, before the season started, was on a conference call with the Sunday Night Football crew, so Al Michaels, Chris
Oh,
Collins.
wow, nice.
Yeah. Then the week after that, I was on a conference call with the Monday Night Football crew with Steve Levy,
Jeez,
Brian Greasy and Louis Riddick and all them. So,
that is awesome.
yeah. So that's kind of what I do is, things like that. As a journalist, that's kind of my thing. Hoping to cover the Super Bowl here, this year or next year on Radio Row. That's my it's my
Oh
hope.
man,
So,
that would be fantastic. That would be awesome.
So
Just get that
like I said,
opportunity.
Yeah.
yeah, yep. So that's kind of me in a nutshell. Sports addict and love fantasy football and just like you guys, baseball and basketball and hockey and of course football. Football is, I live for it every single Sunday. So
Exactly.
I've been waiting for it. Been waiting too long.
Yeah, man, because right before the season started, we had I think it was 4 or 5 shows that we did before the season, and it was we kind of had to stretch a lot of stuff out and to kind of fill the gap for over an hour, and now that football started, it's most of the show now is just football talk, and now we just talk about, just hit on the hockey and baseball and basketball and everything. So it's so good to have football back, even if our team isn't doing that well. It's all right though.
Season's young.
Season is young. There's only a couple games in, man, but it's great to have you on, man, and
Absolutely.
thank
look
you.
forward to hearing your takes on everything that we're going to be talking about. So we'll just jump right into it. We'll talk about your Dolphins, man. You guys had a nice victory here against the Jaguars Thursday night.
Yeah. So to me, this is a little bit of fool's gold. So I'm not a Dolphins fan that's just gonna jump off a cliff and be like, "Yo, we're winning the Super Bowl," because I realize Ryan Fitzpatrick is our quarterback. The run defense still is not good. We couldn't stop James Robinson, who, he's all right. He hasn't proven anything to me. He didn't run great yardage wise, but he still ran effective for them.
Right.
They were in comeback mode most of the night, so he really didn't run the ball that much. But the run defense still a problem. The pass defense still a problem. We beat the Jaguars without their best receiver, so Minshew really had nothing. Their left tackle got ejected. So until Tua comes in, it's just fool's gold right now. The team hasn't proven anything to me. If they beat the Seahawks this Sunday in Miami, it's a little bit different.
Yeah,
It's
then
not gonna happen.
something might be cooking in Miami.
But with Ryan Fitzpatrick, I don't believe that we're going anywhere. I don't expect it. I love
Yeah.
my team, but I'm realistic, and I'm not going to say, well, Super Bowl this year. Ryan Fitzpatrick's our quarterback. I'm not going anywhere with him.
Yeah.
Right.
He's not like elite, but like he's good for a couple wins. He's decent. He gets the job done. It depends on the rest of the team around him at that point. He's not gonna just like carry you to a win if the rest of the team's not doing well.
Yeah, and you're not going to win the division. Even with the expanded playoffs, the AFC is pretty deep this year, as you know.
Yeah.
And even if we make the playoffs, there's no noise you make with Ryan Fitzpatrick. So, that's why I say it's fool's gold.
Yeah.
The Jags, good for you, a team that just tore their team apart at the beginning of the season. So
right.
Yeah, everyone was kind of expecting them to tank. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm not too excited about it.
No one was expecting them to win the first two.
It was a good win, though.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice win. Beat the Seahawks, and then we'll go from there.
Now, do you have any predictions on when like Tua might start, or like if you think he could play it all this season?
So they want to slowly ease him in. Obviously, with 2020 being the year of the injury, it's not exactly a year you want to force that guy in there.
Right.
Your left tackle should be right tackle when he comes in. Should be your right tackle, franchise right tackle, because he's left-handed. So the left tackle is not the important one; it's the right tackle, obviously, because he's left. He's about 20 years old. So we drafted him in the first round. He's 20 years old. He's playing, but he's still raw. So the line is young. The line is not great. So you don't want to bring in a guy that has injury history, force him in there and ruin him when the team's still kind of finding its way. So I think
exactly
8 or 9. I think 8 or 9, but ultimately Brian Flores is probably going to think that once you put him in, you're kind of giving up on the season. You want to see what he has.
Yeah.
Because he's not, he might be NFL ready, but you know what I'm saying? Like, he's not quite ready to lead the team to the promised land right now. So the way Brian Flores thinks is that's kind of how he's going to go, is Fitzpatrick gives us the best chance to win. Until we're out of and you probably won't see Tua.
Maybe like late in the season, like maybe week 15, 16 or something.
Yeah, if it's an easier opponent, then maybe, but he's not going to feed him to Bill Belichick.
Oh, yeah. You're like, go. Good luck. Good luck trying to play the Patriots.
Tua up to Foxborough. Tua up to Foxborough.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I don't blame. That's a smart decision.
Yeah.
I think Ryan Fitzpatrick like carries that locker room way better. Obviously, with the veteran presence, like he seems like every time you hear anybody talking about him, he's just like Fitz magic. He's the magic man. Like it's always good stuff coming out about him. And
he just seems like such a hardworking dude. Like what
I
they say, he comes
it.
in with his hard hat and lunchbox every day.
That type of guy gets the job done.
He's a good guy. He's just not he's a good guy. He's a good locker room presence. He's just not a football player.
Pat Mahomes,
exactly.
It's not.
I was kind of surprised that you guys aren't using Jordan Howard like a lot more than you have been,
Him and Matt Breida. We traded for Matt Breida from the Niners.
Yeah.
And using him at all. We're using Myles Gaskin, which is
I totally
stupid.
forgot you guys had Matt Breida, to be honest.
Me too.
Yeah, it makes no sense. Jordan Howard has more carries than he does yards. He has about 15 carries and about 30 yards. So that makes no sense. Why you're not at least giving him the ball more? I know that's less than a yard per carry, but you signed the guy for a reason. You traded for Matt Breida for a reason. And I don't get why Myles
utilizing
Gaskin.
him.
Maybe he just showed that much in camp. Or, I mean, the little camp they had, but I don't see how you could see that much take both of their jobs, to be honest.
It makes no sense. I don't understand what Flores is doing. I don't know. I haven't figured it out myself.
Man, I know that feeling because, like, the next game we're going to talk about, I have no idea as well. The Bengals and the Eagles, I have no idea what Doug Peterson and his team is doing right now. Carson Wentz looks lost. It looked like he kind of had it a little bit together towards the end of the game when he pulled off, like, to kind of put it into overtime. But, I mean, it's just like the defense did what they were kind of supposed to do. They were okay, I guess, for the day. They gave him tons of chances, but like his offense just looks lost. Like there's no game plan. There's just no original plays. Everything's like screens or like little dink and dunk routes. Jason Peters was like a turnstile. Like he was not veteran Jason Peters Sunday. He was just getting bulldozed almost every play. I mean, it was a mess. I mean, and we're expected to play the injury-ridden 49ers Sunday night. So, I mean, I don't have high hopes going into any game at this point, to be honest.
It's hard for me because, like, I look at the Eagles. Jason Peters obviously banged up. I don't get why Miles Sanders wasn't used more in that game against Cincinnati. That didn't make sense to me. Not just because I have him in fantasy, but just like from a football perspective, like if you know Carson Wentz he's not struggling as a football like a throwing the ball. He knows how to struggle mentally. That's where it's at.
Exactly. It's all mental at this point.
It's mental, and he I don't know why. Nobody knows why. It's a mystery, but he's clearly struggling mentally more than anything. He still knows how to play football, but there's a block. And if you have a blockage with a guy like that, regardless of who he is, give the ball to Miles Sanders, a franchise back, who I think, and I told people this in the offseason, he'll be better than Saquon Barkley at the end of their respective careers. He'll have more yards. He'll be the better running back. I think he was the better running back overall. He looked better at Penn State than Saquon Barkley did. That's just my opinion. But I like Miles Sanders more career long-term than I do Saquon Barkley.
I can definitely see that.
Yeah. I mean, that comes down to kind of what I was going to say next about like I hate how Doug Peterson calls a game. I'm at the point where now they either need to tell him, hey, you need to hire an offensive coordinator, or you need to like I don't know if he should be fired as of right now, because I mean it's his first really terrible season. I mean he took him to the playoffs pretty much every year, but I mean like I have no faith in him as a play caller anymore at this point, you know. I mean this is like second week in a row where, like what you said, Miles Sanders is balling. He almost has like 100 yards, and then for some reason you just stop using the run game and you just try to keep passing it whenever the pass wasn't working to begin with. So it's like it astounds me, really.
It's crazy because like they can't stay away from the injury bug. You know, Rager, I had high hopes so far for him. Yeah. He has obviously been injured all year. Alshon Jeffrey can't get on the field.
Yeah, they said he could be back maybe next week or against Pittsburgh.
Deshaun Jackson might miss time.
Yeah, Dallas Goedert apparently has a fractured ankle as of today.
I saw that. How long is he going to be out? A couple weeks?
They said like 3 weeks probably, because it doesn't require surgery or anything. But he's on IR, so it's at least 3 weeks.
Seems like that's definitely been their problem the last couple of years is the injury.
Yeah,
they can't shake it.
They even focused on getting younger this year to kind of thwart that, and it's still backfired on them. But I mean, on the other side of things, I mean, the Bengals, I mean, they show some promise. I think Joe Burrow is definitely going to work out for him. I mean, it was nice. It was like refreshing to see that like he took that huge hit by, I forget who it was. I think it was
Brandon Graham.
Yeah.
Brandon Graham. I didn't know if it was Brandon Graham or Josh Sweat or whatever. But yeah, well, I mean, there was one where he got like, you could see his head kind of separate from his body.
It was like the Drew Brees play from a couple years ago. Yeah. When his neck, his whole head stayed there and his body moved.
And then he left the game for like a play or so, and then he came back. And then, I mean, that's kind of when they went on that little drive where they started scoring touchdowns. But I mean, like, they start kind of getting some pieces around them and building that team up right. I mean, it is the Bengals. But I mean, I think they could do something. I mean, they do have to compete with the Steelers and the Ravens in that division, you know.
And the Browns, honestly.
And the Browns, and the Browns. But I mean, I have more faith in Joe Burrow probably realistically than
long-term
Mayfield. Yeah.
Long-term, yes. Absolutely. But like I'm talking about, I was just more or less saying like right now. Like
yeah, exactly.
But long-term, absolutely. I'm Burrow fan 100% over Baker Mayfield. Trust me, all day.
Yeah. But I mean, long story short, it ended in a tie. It shouldn't have ended in a tie. But we'll move. It ended in a tie, which is like
one of the years.
the worst
There's
outcome you
always
could have.
something.
I'd almost rather have an L or something over a tie. Like, come on, man.
The last time the Bengals and Eagles played, they ended up in a tie.
Yeah.
So was the last time period? Because I know they've done it before. I know it was the last single time they played.
Yeah, I think it was the last time.
Yep. That's crazy.
My God.
It is. That is wild.
It was.
Damn. We'll move on to the next game. Was the Falcons once again blowing a lead to my boy that came in here, old Nick Foles. I put the jersey out just because he came out. I knew he was going. I predicted at the beginning of the year, Mitchell Trubisky going to get benched and Nick Foles going to come in and do his thing. They activated his superpower coming off the bench.
I didn't expect him to be 2-0 when they benched him, and then against 2-0 with a bench sheet of Mitch Trubisky. But hey, shit, it happened. Everybody knew Nick Foles was going to start eventually. Like,
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people expected him to kind of start the season. Like they didn't know if he was going to be named the starter to start the season. But I mean, the Falcons the second week in a row blowing like such a huge lead, man. That's pretty concerning. Yeah, that's pretty concerning because like everybody was joking about it during the game. Like, nah, it's not going to happen 2 weeks in a row. No way. And then old Nick Foles comes out with the visor on, throws a pick, and they're like, okay, maybe not.
Take that off.
Take the visor off. Throws 3 touchdowns. Hey. I don't know, man. Like, I feel like the Falcons have potential to be good every year, and for some reason, like, they just can't. They just can't do it. It's just like
Quinn's gonna lose his job.
He should.
Definitely
by the end of the season, if not during the season, at the end of it, on Black Monday, it's gonna.
I thought he was gonna get fired yesterday. He should.
I mean, if the Lions would have lost, I could have saw Matt Patricia getting fired yesterday if they would have lost. But yeah, I think Dan Quinn, he's feeling some heat.
Those two and Adam Gase, I don't understand how any of those guys have a job.
Oh my gosh,
I have no idea.
Especially Adam Gase.
Adam Gase just coasted through life right now.
But I mean, like, the Bears came back and won 30-26. The Bears are somehow 3-0 right now. It's weird. It's weird to see the Bears 3-0. I don't think it's, but it is what it is.
The Falcons play the Packers next week, Monday night.
Monday Night Football.
That's probably the only reason they have not fired him, because they're not going to throw a brand new coach in week.
Yeah, against the Packers on Monday night.
Monday night. The next week they play the Panthers. When they get destroyed by the Packers.
Yeah, I was going to say, at least like next week they might not have to worry about blowing a lead because they're already going to be losing, probably. So
I just was curious to see when their bye was, what their schedule looked like, and like as to why he still has a job type of shit.
That explains it though.
Makes a little bit more
sense. Just have like a new coach is out there on Monday night just sweating buckets trying to like, figure something out.
He's sweating buckets anyway.
Yeah,
so
still sweating buckets. He's like, oh man, I can't lose this game.
What do you think about tough guys? Do you think they can do it? 3-0. Chicago.
The Bears? I don't know, man. Not in the long run. Like, if anything, maybe a wild card spot.
They beat the Lions. They beat the Lions, the Giants, and the Falcons. Oh my.
Yes. Yeah. Until they play, you're right. Yeah, dominant team.
Like, you do that against the Packers, you ain't coming back against the Packers playing like they did against the Falcons.
No, absolutely not.
And they activated the Nick Foles superpower a little early. That's supposed to be towards the end of the season. They're supposed to activate that. It's a little early for Matt Nagy to go there. The next game, the Rams and the Bills. This was a wild game.
We split this. We picked it.
Yeah.
I picked with them Bills. It was like AFC East.
Hey, I thought them Rams were gonna win, and I mean,
I just honestly, I'm not trying to like be like any slight towards the Eagles, but like they beat the Eagles, but it wasn't like the Eagles are that great. And I know, even though Buffalo took that lead, 28-3, where we heard that before. Even though they gave up that lead, they were winning 28-3. They should have won that game 40-something to 13 or something. They were destroying the Rams. Rams shouldn't have came back like that, but they did. Buffalo still pulled it out though. So
Buffalo looks really good this year. Like they look even better than they did last year.
It'll help with that penalty, but it is what it is.
Yeah, that was questionable there at the end. It's pretty questionable stuff. But I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see like how it comes down for the division for you guys between the Pats and the Bills.
Yeah.
I mean, they both look pretty dominant at this point, Yeah. I mean, the Pats at least show that they can like pretty much keep up with anybody.
It's
I mean,
kind
like
of
the Seahawks.
We'll get to the Patriots, but it just seems like business as usual with them. Other than we have Cam now, and we're not passing much, but like 250 rushing yards, like it's nice. It's nice to see. And Cam in an interview afterwards was talking about how he underperformed and not up to par and stuff like that. And because he had a pick, 1 touchdown. I don't even think he had 200 yards passing. But let me see here. Had it all down. But it just seems like everything's rolling nicely, Yeah. I mean, it was the Raiders, but the Raiders have been. John Gruden seems to be getting that.
Yeah, the Raiders look nice the first couple weeks.
So Belichick, I'm pretty sure they said Gruden is 0-4 all time against Belichick. I think I would have to double check that, but I think I saw that. I'm like, hey, some things never change.
Yeah, I mean that's going to be a game to mark on the calendar, though. The Bills and Pats. That's going to be a good one, a good divisional game. I mean the Bills, they're just clicking on all cylinders. It seems. I mean the defense was a little suspect there towards the end with against the Rams, letting them come back like that.
I was worried. Like, are they? I don't know. We'll see. You know how the Rams like to strike quick.
Yeah, that's true.
Very capable of that. So.
Yeah, I mean the Rams. They're such an up and down team. It seems like 1 week they're really good. They have it working, and then the next week they just like fall apart. Like there's no plan. It's weird. I mean they have potential on both sides of the ball.
You picked the Rams on that one, though.
I did pick the Rams. I thought they had the hot hand. They were 2-0 rolling into this game, and that's why I picked them. Next, we have the Washington No Names and the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns kind of figured out their game that they like running now, and that's the run game. Chubb just kind of ran all over the place on Washington.
It says a lot about about what they feel about Baker Mayfield if they're not letting him throw the ball anymore.
Yeah,
they're taking the ball out of his hands. To me, it says that Baker Mayfield's not going to be there much longer. This might be his last year.
Telling.
Because if they're taking the ball out of his hands against Washington.
Yeah, the Washington No Names.
If they're keeping the ball out of his hands against them, and their pass defense is terrible, and Chase Young got knocked out of that game early in the game.
Exactly.
It's not like they had to worry about a whole lot, and they still took the ball out of his hands.
Still didn't want to drop back.
Yeah.
Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt's hands. It's telling to me.
They're monsters, though. Those two are monsters.
You got Odell and Jarvis Landry. Like, how is he not able?
Can't hit Odell if his life depended on it.
I just don't understand.
I have no idea why that is.
I wish my Eagles had those kinds of weapons.
Why? I'm not to get off topic, but why wouldn't the Eagles maybe try a trade for Odell Beckham at this point? They need a receiver desperately.
They should have tried to trade for D-Hop before the season. Like you saw how cheap Arizona got him.
Yeah. If that's all it took to get DeAndre Hopkins, sign me up.
Yeah.
I
mean, we'll kind of touch on that a little later when I kind of bring it up in my bias bubble. But yeah, that comes down to Howie at that point, and I got some beef with Howie as well as Doug.
Oh, shit. Not going good over there in Philly right now.
Not going good over here in Philly.
I did not think 0-3 was possible. I mean, I guess it's not 0-3.
It's 0-2-1.
It's 0-2-1. So they even still surprised me. But
yeah, I mean nobody did. The expectations were high coming into the season, but I mean it is what it is. That's football, baby.
Oh, I think we skipped the Patriots. Did we talk about Patriots Oakland?
Just kind of did, actually.
A little bit. Skipped over it a little bit.
They weren't on my list yet. They were after the Vikings and Titans.
And that's what I have on here next. I mean,
we could talk about the Pats.
We could go back and we both picked New England on that one. There's not, but like I said, I'll talk about that a lot deeper later on. But let's get to Tennessee and Minnesota.
Yeah.
Split on that one too. I picked Minnesota.
Yeah, I kind of rolled with the hot hand with the Titans. I mean, it's Derrick Henry's Derrick Henry, and Ryan Tannehill's proven that he can sling it the past couple weeks. You know, I mean, I'm really impressed with the Titans here, past couple weeks.
Now.
For now.
COVID. Well, I'm just saying now with the COVID.
As of
COVID
today, some breaking news. Yeah, who knows what's going on with the Titans? They're shut down for the week.
Probably play the game though, because it's only 3 players. So
yeah,
I don't think it's going to hold too much up, but the facilities are closed, so that makes things interesting.
Unless the 3 players are like Derrick Henry and Ryan.
Players.
Yeah.
But how do they do that with the whole team not practicing?
Yeah.
But the other that they face gets to practice. How does that work?
A huge disadvantage.
That's what I was thinking.
Exactly.
They said something about virtual meetings all week long.
But it's different than practicing.
100%.
Yeah, you're not like
100%.
And going through reps, things like that.
Because they usually like script the first couple drives usually whenever they're practicing. So like, how would you even do that?
That and physically, you're not practicing the entire week physically. And we've seen injuries already mount for teams. So let alone a team not physically, being active for an entire week until they go into play.
Yeah. Then you're just kind of trusting people to kind of do their own individual workouts and kind of staying up
then
the park.
Then you got to play the Steelers.
And you play the Steelers, a physical team. Oh, TJ Watt might have,
He might break a record.
Yeah.
I hope everything goes okay as far as like players not getting hurt because of it, but I know it's a possibility. It elevates with them not practicing all week.
Yeah, and I know that the Vikings they shut down their facilities too as well. They're waiting for tests to come back to see if any of their staff and players are tested positive. Mm-hmm. So I mean, who knows? That's kind of a messy situation. It's the first real situation like this season. So I mean, it's
inevitable though. It was going.
Oh yeah, it was bound to happen eventually. I know that like that one player on the Falcons he was pulled this week, but I know he was like the first one that was kind of pulled.
Right.
And then this happens,
Had a fan in the stands in week 1, right? The Chiefs.
Yeah,
game.
The Chiefs. Yeah.
About 15 of them. About 15 of them, I believe. Yeah.
15.
Really? See, I didn't see that.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's gonna happen. They just gotta try to keep everybody as safe as possible, and like they do with the contact tracing, and just hopefully everything runs smoothly. Keep everybody as healthy as possible.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, Tennessee looked nice, man. I mean, Tennessee's like one of those teams that were like, they don't have a lot of eyes on them. They're just kind of underrated good. They'll go smoothly into the playoffs and do what they have to do, They just got to make sure that like the pass game is still on point when it comes to playoff times, because that's where it kind of hurt them last year. And I mean, the Vikings are just a mess right now.
Yeah.
And the Vikings are just a huge mess right now on both sides of the ball. Kirk Cousins, he's acting like Carson Wentz out here, doesn't know what he's doing. He's messed up in his head right now. Yeah. I mean, then we move on to your Pats. The old Cam Newton.
No. They just
versus Derek Carr.
Took care of business. Like we were saying, we were talking about them pretty much already. We covered them. ton of yards on the ground, 250 yards as a team on the ground. I love that.
Jeez.
And that's with James White, even though pass catching back, James White out. And Rex Burkhead talked about how like every single touchdown was for him. And I love the style of the
Yeah,
team
Rex
right
Burkhead
now.
had a game.
2 touchdowns on the ground, 1 on the air, or in the air, going off. Hey, it is what it is. Sonny Michel had 100 yards on the ground, no touchdown.
Jeez, man.
So it's nice. Josh Jacobs, I don't think he didn't break 100 yards. He had like 76 yards, something like
Yeah.
that.
No, and he came in with a hip injury,
Yeah.
and clearly Belichick has a history of shutting down the best player on that respective team.
Absolutely.
True. Absolutely. And God damn it, he did it.
He did it.
Once that happened, it seemed like everything else fell in place. Derek Carr fumbled twice. Jacobs had a fumble. They made our defense look better than it is, more or less. It's not quite that good, but hey, it's still the defense it was last year, minus good like 8-9 pieces by this point, with all the opt-outs and all the free agents we lost, maybe even more, to be honest. But people are stepping up.
Yeah.
People are stepping up.
Yeah, I mean, you're still winning games. I know that like Gilly kind of looked a little off the past couple games. I mean, especially against the Seahawks. But I mean,
pass interference calls and
yeah, that's not something you'd probably be worried about at this point.
No.
You know, it's Stephon Gilmore.
Exactly. Not too worried about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just business as usual to you guys. Belichick knows what he's doing.
Hopefully. Keeps rolling. We got Kansas City next week.
Oh, boy.
That's going to be a game, man. That's going to be quite the game.
In Kansas City.
Oh, my gosh. That's a huge game.
Yeah. Hopefully we do a better job against them than Lamar Jackson did last night, but we'll see.
We'll get to that.
Dude didn't even have 100 yards. I'm not trying to talk about sports betting too much, but I had the over for him on like 200 some yards. And I'm like,
oh, man.
It was
bad.
You
get 100.
You get 100. But it is what it is.
Next we got the 49ers and the Giants. And the 49ers had like so many players that weren't even playing, and they still demolished them 36-9. It doesn't bode well for my Eagles that play the 49ers next week, even if Jimmy G doesn't play, and they're saying George Kittle's probably going to play, so that doesn't help anymore.
Oh, man.
I mean, it's the 49ers, they have good coaching, man. It just comes down to the coaching at that point. They're a really good team. I mean, it extends to Giants, but
yeah, there's not a whole lot to talk about with with the Giants right now. The Giants are kind of like just a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
But
like the Jets.
I do know the Niners are supposed to have Garoppolo, Mostert, and Kittle back this week. They're all day to day, but all three are supposed to be back. Jeff Wilson looked really good.
He did. I had him on my lineup this week.
McKinnon continues to get hurt. You know, guy can't stay healthy. But they got backs out, out the butt.
Yeah.
Now with Jeff Wilson and Mostert, and it's always another.
Definitely. They have a lot of good running backs.
Sunday night football game. It'd be an interesting game.
So that's Sunday night. That's right. Okay, so we got the Monday night is Packers and who we just say? Packers, Falcons, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And then we got the worst Thursday night football game we've ever seen.
The Broncos and Jets.
Hey,
yeah.
Third string quarterback. Let's go.
Oh, man.
I think we both took the 49ers in that game, Vern.
Yeah.
Next we had another game that I had the Texans against the Steelers, but the Steelers ended up winning. I voted.
You had Pitt.
Did I have Pitt? I thought I had Houston on that one.
We both picked Pittsburgh on that one.
Okay. Yeah, I know I bet them sports betting. I put Houston and went in. And it looked like they had something rolling for a little while, and then they just kind of stalled.
Right. I was suspect of the fact that the Steelers played shitty teams and the Texans played great teams. So I thought maybe that was going to tell something about, like, maybe if the Texans beat the Steelers, more or less, I'm not going to be surprised. Because maybe the Steelers aren't who we thought they were. Maybe the Texans aren't who we thought they were. But Steelers came out and did exactly what everybody expected them to do, realistically. So.
Yeah. Steelers being Steelers at this point. As long as Big Ben's there, that defense is still thriving like they are. You know, it's business as usual for the Steelers, and like Mike Tomlin's running that well-oiled machine over there. But I mean, the Texans, I don't know what to think about the Texans anymore. They definitely need a number one wide receiver. Losing D-Hop definitely affected their game, affected their team. I mean, I don't know. Do you have any other opinions about it, John?
Bill O'Brien's an idiot. O'Brien is so stupid.
Yeah.
He has no idea. I don't understand how he's a coach and a GM. I have
Yeah.
no idea.
How did he get more power?
That never works out well.
He trades away DeAndre Hopkins for a banged up David Johnson, and then he gets Brandon Cooks, who's always hurt, from the Rams. Like, I have no idea what they're doing. And the worse they do, the better, because the Dolphins have that first round pick.
Nice.
So I'm hoping they lose every game. So we get that number one overall pick. I'm hoping that. I've seen it.
That's
nothing.
Nice, though.
I've seen nothing from the Texans that shows me they're any good. Besides the shot.
Yeah, I mean, out of anybody, I know how it is to have a coach that's also a GM, because that's what Chip Kelly was back in the day, and you know how horribly that went. They gave him too much power.
Could be good though. What about Bill Belichick?
Yeah, I mean, he's like an exception though, exception of the rule.
I don't know how much power he's got, but he's got a lot of power.
That's classified business over there in New England. Nobody knows what's going on.
It's like he's earned it though,
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely proved his worth. Next we got the Phillip Rivers led Colts against Adam Gase's Jets.
You can't even say that without
laughing. These terrible Jets look like the worst team the NFL has ever had at this point.
Poor Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Poor Sam Darnold. Like, this isn't his fault, and I hope that they don't, like, ship him out of town and blame it on him.
I hope they do for his sake, because then maybe he could have a chance,
Maybe.
Like, he doesn't have any shot.
Yeah, I mean, I was more worried about, like, maybe this is ruining his stock, like anybody would try to get him, So,
I mean, he's still young, right? He's still, like 24, 25? He's still a young guy. And I'm sure there's plenty of teams where he could be he could go to the Raiders and be a lot better than Derek Carr. I don't believe
in Derek Carr. Tannehill.
It just needs to be in a right system.
Yep. We've never really seen him we've never seen him on a good team in the NFL, in a good offense. Never seen that. So we really don't know what, we really don't know what to expect, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And I know they played some shitty teams, but I mean, I really like seeing Phillip Rivers on the Colts for some reason. I really like them Colts. Like, I always have a love for Frank Reich, and I like what he's doing over there in Indy. That defense is nice. I really like Phillip Rivers on the Colts, pretty much. I really like. That's a perfect place for him at this point in his career. I don't know.
We were talking about how it's kind of like not.
You don't think so?
Like, everything's perfect there except Phillip Rivers.
Except Phillip Rivers?
That's how I feel. I feel like he holds them. I feel they have a great roster, but I feel like he holds them back from where they want to go, because he's not the same Phillip Rivers. We kind
of talked about that last week, where we said that he kind of has the Phillip Rivers where he can make game-winning drives and win, and then there's the Phillip Rivers who just throws an interception when he shouldn't be throwing interceptions at the worst possible.
Oh no.
Oh no.
No, we lost him again.
This is not good.
Oh, he's gonna be mad. Is he back?
Oh, there he is.
I'm right here.
Back? Okay.
Yeah, it was like, I don't know what was going on.
Oh damn.
But
I mean, he has potential to ruin games as well. It is what it is, though. I mean, that's Phillip Rivers. That's his game at this point. I actually saw a theory today that it kind of made me mad, but it made sense. Whereas, like, Philly ends up trading Carson Wentz to the Colts because of Frank Reich loves Carson Wentz, and like then he would end up prospering and thriving on the Colts after we trade him to the Colts or some shit. I was like, that just makes too much sense. I don't even want to think about it. Like Frank Reich, because he was definitely the mastermind behind the 2017 Super Bowl season with Doug. But I'd be like, I don't want to even think about Carson being with Frank Reich again. I miss Frank Reich. But I mean, we can move on though. What was next, Bern?
Chargers, Panthers.
Yeah, that was an interesting game as well.
I honestly thought Herbert was going to be able to do it. Especially with how like injury riddled the Panthers are. You know, I was like, I just didn't think they were going to be able to field the talent. And they did. It surprised me. Herbert kind of looked like a rookie more or less in that game, more than he did in the first game. So
yeah, I mean, he looked really good against the Chiefs last week.
Right, surprisingly, and then you can't beat the Panthers, like, but whatever.
Yeah. I mean, the Panthers are kind of trying to figure out their identity as well at this point in time. I mean, both teams as of right now are like they don't even know what they're doing at this point. And like both, who knows what their identity is going to be like a couple weeks from now, you know? Yeah. What do you think, John? You have anything to say about the Panthers or Chargers?
Not really, because the Panthers are in full rebuild mode, so they're, there's not a lot to them. And the Chargers, clearly, if they can't beat the Panthers, who are without Christian McCaffrey, the Chargers just aren't going anywhere. Even with that defense, it should have been a game they easily won.
Yeah.
In their home stadium.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't even think
really should have been.
What's happened since we've had the last podcast was the news about Tyrod Taylor with the doc giving him the injection and ended up puncturing his lung. So, I mean, and he's out indefinitely. So it's like, from what I've,
one thing after another, it seems.
It's a freak accident. But from what I've seen and read, it's like, there's always the risk with that kind of injection that outcome could happen, that they could puncture a lung. So it's not like it was kind of out of nowhere. There's always the risk of that during that procedure, but still, it's when it happens to a quarterback, that's terrible, man. But yeah, I mean, the Chargers, from what you said, both teams, they're not really in contention for anything this year anyway, so it is what it is. Moving on to the Tampa Bay Gronkaneers. Versus
Tampa Bay.
The Broncos.
Gronk actually decided to catch a couple balls.
Yeah, Gronk actually decided to show up this week.
What
Put some stats on the board. Tom Brady doing Tom Brady things.
Man, they went out there and did exactly what they were expected to do.
Yeah.
So, I just want to see where that team is come postseason.
Yeah.
There's something fishy about the way it's all run. Bruce Arians obviously a good coach, but till he proves me otherwise, I don't know if he can get it done big time. You're gonna be going up against Aaron Rodgers in the postseason. You're not gonna be going up against the teams that we've been facing the last couple of years and our Super Bowl runs on our way.
Yeah, it kind of almost seems like a perfect situation for Tampa, like the way they just kind of made every piece fall into place. This is a roster we can win a Super Bowl with right away, and it's like, I don't know if that's how it's gonna work.
I don't know.
Most of the times with those kind of dream teams,
right? They like I told you before, they remind me of that Philly dream team.
Yeah,
they remind me of the Browns from last year.
Yeah, how they were supposed to be amazing.
Super high expectations.
And nope.
And Brady hasn't impressed me at all. Through 3 games, Brady...
He hasn't been astounding or anything.
His arm doesn't look as sharp as it normally does. He doesn't look like the same guy.
Yeah.
Age.
That's that old age showing. I mean, that's yeah.
How does Mike Evans have 2 yards in a game? 2 catches for 2 yards for 2 touchdowns. How is that possible?
How is Jameis Winston making more out of that team than Tom Brady is?
They're getting wins though.
They're getting wins.
They beat the Panthers and the Broncos with a third string quarterback.
Yeah, the
Right.
Broncos. Yeah.
You're right.
I mean, I wasn't even really going to talk about the Broncos much. They're in they're decimated right now.
Yeah. So I haven't seen anything from the Patriots yet that shows me. Or,
Buccaneers.
The Buccaneers.
Buccaneers, sorry.
Buccaneers.
Sorry.
It's still weird seeing Tom Brady out there.
Pretty much
so
Patriots.
Weird. It's like having to get used to calling the Chargers the LA Chargers and not the San Diego Chargers.
Or Washington.
Yeah, the
or
Washington no name. Yeah.
Or Raiders.
Right. I said Oakland last week on the podcast, and Wyatt correct me. He's like, Vegas?
You mean Vegas?
Oh.
It's so weird.
It is really weird.
But I haven't seen anything from them, the Bucks yet. I just haven't seen
outstanding.
No.
You haven't been seeing like the Mike Evans deep balls for touchdowns that you used to see and everything. I mean, they're stacked as much when it comes like on paper, like they should be demolishing teams, I would feel, but it's just not working out like that right now. And and it's something you don't expect out of a Bruce Arians offense. Usually he's like tries to take the ball deep, take top off the defense kind of style, So it is kind of weird as of right now. But I mean, it's early in the season. Who knows what they might be saving all those tricks for later in the season. Next we got the Lions and the Cardinals. That was a good game. Surprising game. The Lions didn't blow it this time like the past couple weeks. They actually Patricia was able to save his job by another week.
How does this guy have a job? Like I said, I just don't get. He's a terrible head coach.
Yeah.
Bring him back to New England. Let him have the pencil in his ear on the sideline, doing the defensive play calling or whatever he did when he was with us. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, he could be our defensive coordinator after we hire Jim Schwartz here, maybe after this year if he wants.
I can't see that. There's one reason, because he was the reason that Darius Slay went to.
Oh yeah, true.
And Darius Slay and him do not like each other.
That slipped my mind entirely. Yeah, Darius Slay.
He rubs a lot of players the wrong way.
After the thing he said about Darius Slay, not gonna get into that, but the
saying that like he wasn't a leader and stuff.
Well, he also said some graphic things. I'll just leave it at graphic.
Really, I didn't hear about that.
About him being a man and other things about genitals and things like that. Like I said, we'll shit into, but that's why Darius Slay, and that was the first day Matt Patricia became head coach. He wanted to show him the alpha dog. First day, he basically stood up to Darius Slay and called him out in front of the team. Basically talked about Darius Slay likes to have genitals in his mouth, things like that.
What?
Yeah. And that's why Darius Slay wanted out.
Matt Patricia is wild, dude. Because I think it was, I don't know if it was like after the last game or the first week when they asked him about blowing a lead, and then he's like, well, in fourth quarters I have like the best play or something in fourth quarter history or something. He said some ridiculous statement after they asked him about blowing a lead or whatever, and he was just being a smart ass or whatever, and it's just like
he's trying to be Bill Belichick is what he's trying to do.
He's like doing a Bill impression.
He's not Bill Belichick. He's not Belichick.
No.
He needs to be himself, not Belichick.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, I don't see him really being a head coach any further after this year. I mean, even anywhere else, he's probably going to be a defensive coordinator somewhere.
It's working for Brian Flores. He's doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So far.
He's building something down there.
He's trying to sell. It looks like he's trying to coach his way and not necessarily Bill Belichick's way.
Yeah.
He took half our defense away.
Not trying to implement someone else's system into your own.
Right.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, in the Cardinals, they just looked kind of off. I mean, Kyler Murray seemed like he wasn't himself that game, really.
Definitely still trusting Kyler, though, man. He does
crazy
shit.
Yeah, I mean, it was an off game for him.
Yeah.
I mean, that.
I wonder if the Cardinals just got cocky because maybe it looked like they were overconfident. Like it's Lions, we should beat them easily. That's what it felt like to me just watching that game.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Allowing them to hang around like that.
Next game we have the Cowboys and the Seahawks.
Oh, that was a good game, man.
It was a good game, man.
I was surprised that the Dallas even came back, and then they were leading the game at one point. I'm like, oh my god, they might actually.
Dak throws the pick at the end.
Well, Russ did the touchdown, and then Dak.
Well, yeah.
I give Dak credit for that play. I mean, he should have been sacked. That was a hell of a play. He should have thrown it away. But it was a hell of a play just to escape that. It was like an Eli Manning thing.
Yeah.
Just to escape that was, heroic. He should have thrown it away, though. That was stupid throwing in triple coverage.
Yeah. Right. I mean, their issue, like, I'm a known Dallas hater, but I mean, that offense of theirs it can be scary. It's like that defense is just so banged up and so terrible at this point.
Swiss cheese.
What is Mike McCarthy doing? He's not using Zeke.
He's doing exactly what Jason Garrett did.
They look the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like the same team from last year.
Zeke's your best player, and you're not using him.
Yeah.
They're not using him like they should.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't get it.
And then it doesn't help, you have Jerry Jones come out with a statement, I think it was yesterday or today, saying it's like, Dak, if he's like, Pat Mahomes or Tony Romo would have been able to make those drives. Like, he pretty much threw Dak under the bus. And I'm like, that pretty much tells you right there that Jerry Jones is not sold on Dak. Like, that's why he doesn't have a contract.
He's not going to give him $40 million a year.
Yeah. Unless, like, they franchise tag him, I think Dak's going to be out of Dallas here next year or so.
But how do you build that kind of offense? Draft CeeDee Lamb in the first round when you have plenty of other problems, and you get rid of Dak. Who are you going to bring in? You're not going to bring in a rookie.
They can bring in Trubisky.
And part of me, like, even on draft night, thinks they took CeeDee Lamb just to pretty much dig a knife into the Eagles at that point. I think that's the only reason they took CeeDee Lamb, because I think
wasn't it the pick before?
It was the pick right before. And I think because we were going to take CeeDee Lamb, and I think that's why Dallas they jumped the gun. Jerry's like, pull the trigger, we want him, just to kind of slight us. And I mean, hey, it is what it is, but that hurts your team in the long run. You guys lost like one of your top cornerbacks. You guys scooped them. You guys scooped them. I mean, they lost some other players. I mean, like, what's his name? Vander Esch is out for like 6 weeks. He broke his collarbone or something.
Man, he always seems to be having big injuries.
But he's a beast. Yeah. But
he reminds me of like another Sean Lee. Always hurt.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Like, but amazing when he's on the field for them.
Yeah. Sean Lee was fantastic at Penn State and with Dallas, but he's always hurt.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of JJ at the end of his career here. JJ Watt. Like, imagine if he would have stayed healthy the last 4 seasons, fully healthy. Like, but I mean, he's good right now, right? He has no ailments that he's dealing with.
Yeah.
He's having a good.
I mean, it really sucks for
keep him on the field. Like his brother, like you were just talking about. TJ is gonna eat this Sunday.
Yeah. I know the other Watt's out for Pittsburgh.
Derek
Watt, yeah, he's out. But I mean, I feel bad for Dak at this point, because it's like, at this point, he kind of has to have a perfect game every week, or else like you're going to be losing games from here on out unless you play perfect because of that defense.
Right.
It's a pretty shitty situation for him.
I mean, Houston was supposed to get Earl Thomas. It was reported yesterday that they were getting today. It was reported they're not signing him. So to me, Dallas has to sign him. Dallas needs Earl Thomas, and I know that
Jerry and them been vocal about like, no, we're not interested in Earl Thomas. We don't have any interest in bringing him in and such. And it's like, I mean, it's probably in your best interest to at this point. You probably should take a look. I mean, you're not Russell Wilson. I mean, that defense is not great by any means either, but Russell Wilson is somehow slinging it and getting the job done every week, extending plays. He's a madman at this point. I mean, DK Metcalf, I don't know how we passed up on him and took JJ Arcega-Whiteside. That still pisses me off.
Oh, that's a terrible pick.
I know.
Oh,
But I mean,
my
as of right now, it's like, I know it's so early because everybody talks about MVP at this point, but I mean, like, at this point, I think it's like Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson who are just like doing the most every week at this point. Right. But yeah, I mean, that kind of leads into the next game is the Packers and Saints, which was a shootout pretty much. That was a really good game. Because a lot of people were doubting Drew Brees here this past week. They're saying he don't got it, said he got noodle arm, saying he couldn't sling it.
Saying a noodle arm.
I mean, he wasn't exactly slinging it by any means. He was doing like the check downs and stuff. But I mean, they were keeping up with the Packers. But I mean,
it's also got Thomas out.
Yeah, Thomas is out. But I mean, Alvin Kamara is a whole other beast.
Oh my god!
You're seeing him do some things like it's just mind blowing how he's just like turns like some like little screen into like a 40-yard gain. So
did you see the little slow motion touchdown that he had?
That
like
was
where he was running behind Big Boy. Yeah, the dude was blocking for him.
Did you see Chris Collinsworth go insane for the center? The center ran and kept up with Alvin Kamara.
Kept up with him.
I've never seen that in my life, and a lineman keep up with a guy that fast. Never.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
That was a really, really cool move there.
Yeah,
that was a nice drive. And I mean, then you got Aaron Rodgers just slinging it. I mean, they didn't even have Devontae Adams. He was out.
Yeah.
I mean,
Lazard go over 100.
Lazard, yeah. Lazard
Aaron Rodgers' passer rating was perfect, 158.3 when passing to Lazard. Passing to Lazard Sunday night.
Oh my god.
Perfect when passing to him Sunday.
That's
Lazard
interesting.
Lazard was amazing.
Yeah.
And so was Rodgers when passing him.
I mean, it's like what we were saying before is like Aaron Rodgers seems like he's in the best place of his career right now. He's happy. He's playing football. Seems like he has a good relationship with LaFleur now. They kind of got everything sorted out. They're a little troubled. They're just a little dispute out of the way, and they're just balling at this point. Like I wouldn't want to play the Packers at this point right now.
That's what Tom Brady's got to go through.
But I mean, the Saints, I don't know. I'm not sold on the Saints. It's just like every year, where it's like they look dominant one week and then they just look like pretty mediocre the next. I don't know.
And what I don't get is without Michael Thomas, how is Emmanuel Sanders not more involved?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, you signed a guy like that, and yeah, he's not elite, but look what he did for San Fran last year.
Yeah.
How is he not more involved with Michael Thomas out? I don't understand.
And he was doing well against the Packers. Like whenever they threw to him, he was catching them. He was doing well.
I don't get
Maybe
that.
that's something they'll change this week if Michael Thomas could. I don't know. Is he healthy? Is he going to be back this week or is he still
I don't know.
Thomas.
I think he's supposed to miss another week.
Okay.
I think he's supposed to miss at least another one.
Gotcha. I mean,
he's
better involve Emmanuel Sanders.
Yeah.
And we'll drop 2 in a row.
And then we got the big old game last night. It was the Chiefs and the Ravens. The big
I picked the Ravens
champs versus MVP. Yeah, you picked the Ravens. I had the Chiefs. Yeah, I mean, it kind of went exactly how I thought it was going to go. Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs just doing their thing. I didn't expect there to be like a kickoff return, though. But
yeah, that was nice to see. First one of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I was really surprised to see that. I didn't think that Lamar Jackson was going to throw less than 100 yards. Yeah, that was a big shocker for me. But I mean, it was a good game though.
Still fun to watch.
Really fun to watch game.
Do you think if you're the defense of the Ravens, you kind of be mad that your team just returned a kickoff because now you got to go back out there and face Mahomes again?
I was thinking the same thing.
Your team scored, but hey, Mahomes just drove down the field on us. Oh, what's that? We returned a kick. Okay, our reward is we get to go back out and face Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Get back out there.
What? Maybe 2 minutes of rest. maybe. You know,
He
like,
just we're exhausted from getting our ass kicked from Mahomes. Yeah, let's go face him
Let's
again.
just do it again. He's just slinging it all over the field.
Hey, that's what happens.
I mean, I know it's too early to be talking about like Super Bowl matchups, but like I would love to see like at this point like Kansas City versus Green Bay, like Aaron Rodgers versus Pat Mahomes just slinging it.
Kansas City and Seattle.
Yeah.
Yeah, either of them.
Be insane.
Yeah, that'd be
Like
a really
imagine that showdown.
Deep
yeah.
balls.
Just
Russell Wilson throwing deep balls.
exactly. It is like
They were-
it's just the only issue with the Seahawks like every single year is that O line, man, and the defense a little bit, but the O line like every single play, Russ is on the run, and he's always trying to make plays, and it works. But I mean, you always like think when's it gonna catch up to him at some point? Like you can't keep running every year. Like you gotta fix that O line sometime.
That's all of them for the week last
Yeah, but
week.
that's all of them for week 3. It was a good week though of football.
Yeah, it was. It was a good week. I'm excited for week 4, not Thursday night.
No,
Yeah,
Thursday's
not
I
just
mean,
back.
we can kind of run down through the week 4 really quick. I mean, we kind of covered all of what the teams are doing, so I
Yeah.
mean, we kind of hit our picks.
Yeah, we'll
for
just
the
hit
week.
our picks quick.
Yeah. I mean, the Broncos Jets. Who do you guys got in the Broncos Jets game? I think I got the Broncos on this one, even with a banged up QB situation.
I'm going with New York.
You don't
Just-
think the Jets gonna get a win?
Just to make things interesting. I already thought about this. Like, I'm going with New York on this one, especially with
I'm gonna go
third string quarterback.
Jets. If Ripien is starting, Darnold's better. I'm gonna go the Jets.
I'm going
The
New York
Jets.
on this one.
Okay.
All right, what we got for the next game here?
Eagles and 49ers.
Oh,
Oh man.
hmm.
I'm gonna pick
I
against my
don't
boys
think-
this week. I'm gonna pick the 49ers. It hurts, but I got to. Maybe it'll be some like reverse psychology. I picked the 49ers, maybe the Eagles will win type.
I did as well. I'm sorry I had lost faith in your
Hey man,
Eagles.
I did too, man. It's hard to have any hope in my Eagles right now.
Niners in a landslide.
In a land, and you think it's gonna be that bad?
Yeah, I think that run runs the whatever the scheme that Kyle Shanahan likes to run. They're gonna run like all over that Eagles defense. I think
Over and over and
Oh,
over.
I don't even want to think about it.
prime time. Yeah,
Oh, I don't want to see a blowout in prime time, man. That's the last thing I want. Like I understand if we lose, but I don't want it to be a blowout.
I think it'll be
Well,
more
yeah.
of like a grind it out, like the way the Niners do, just like run after run.
Yeah.
You know, not a lot of passing from them.
Mm-hmm.
They just kind of wear you down.
Exactly. Next we got Colts and the Bears. The 3-0 Bears against 2-1 Colts.
Got the Colts in this one.
Nick Foles has been named the starter for the season now for the Bears. You got the Colts.
Like he was saying, like the Bears, I think are fake tough guys.
Big tough
so-
guys.
Even though I don't necessarily think the Colts are that great, I think
Yeah.
they're better than the Bears. They're gonna definitely win this game.
I think the Colts have a really good defense. I mean, they were playing shitty
Oh,
teams, but
God,
they got a
They're playing
really
shitty
good
teams.
defense.
2 pick sixes, right?
2 pick sixes last week. Yeah.
You going with the Colts?
Yeah, I'll probably pick the Colts on this one.
Colts. Yeah,
Even
Colts.
though I like Nick Foles.
Yeah.
I think the Colts are gonna win that one. Jaguars and the Bengals. Next. Interesting matchup. I think I'm gonna pick the Bengals on this one. I think Joe Burrow's gonna get his first win this weekend.
They've been
Okay,
real
I-
close. Yeah,
I could absolutely
Yeah.
see that.
Really
They-
close.
they've been knocking on the door of a win. So I think the Bengals, but I think this will be high scoring for fantasy purposes.
Yeah.
I could.
I think-
I'm gonna take note of that. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely, man. I
I
mean,
got Jacksonville on that one. I think even though the Bengals, like they've been so close every time,
old Garner Minshew.
I see them pulling it out at the end. It doesn't seem like the Bengals can wrap up.
Yeah.
And the Jags aren't that much better. Trust me, this is gonna be a shitty game, but it'll probably be a high scoring game, like he's saying, because what defense is gonna be played here? You know,
Absolutely. Next we got the Browns and the Cowboys. I think I got the Cowboys winning this one.
At
It's fair to
Dallas.
say.
So do I.
Yeah. What about you, John?
Cowboys, but it'd be interesting to see if the Browns can instill the run game. Because if they can, I think they can beat the Cowboys if they can get that going. But ultimately, I think the Cowboys would be too much.
They can't end up behind. The Browns can't end up behind. That's the main thing here.
Like what you're saying earlier, you're gonna have to start forcing Baker Mayfield to pass, and that's probably where it's gonna go downhill from there.
All right.
Yeah, I got the Cowboys in that one. Next, we got the Saints and the Lions.
Should be an easy pick.
Should be an easy pick. I mean, I'm picking the Saints on this one.
If they lose this fucking game.
To the Lions, to Matt Patricia.
I got the Saints as well.
I'm gonna go Lions.
Oh,
honestly. In Detroit, and Kenny Galladay is healthy.
Okay.
Yeah, he had his first game back last week. Right?
Marshawn Lattimore against Kenny Galladay. That'll be interesting to see.
Mm-hmm.
Can the Saints stop Hawkinson? I think the Lions. AP, can they stop AP? You're gonna see a lot of AP who's run
AP
well.
He had a good week last week.
Run well.
Yeah, the starter this week.
Yeah.
So give me the Lions.
Really
okay, very interesting.
Yeah, that could be they're both 1-2 at this point. I mean,
the Lions have been close. The Lions honestly could be 2-1. They should be 2-1
easily. Yeah, they blew the first 2 games. They could have easily won them. Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see the Lions winning that game, but for some reason
they just beat the Cardinals. Just went to Arizona.
That is true. That is true. But can they do it 2 weeks in a row?
See if they're surprised.
They could surprise. And then who knows if this game's going to be played? If it's the Steelers Titans. What the outcome is going to be if the Titans aren't practicing against the Steelers? That's a hard one, man. I'm going
with the Steelers.
Yeah,
I mean, if the Titans were practicing all week, I would probably pick the Titans, to be honest, over the Steelers. But
I'm going to go Steelers. I'm going to go Steelers because the Titans have kind of been living on the edge the first 3 weeks. All 3 of their games they pulled out basically at the end of the game. Yeah, Jags, Broncos, and Vikings.
Yeah.
And I think the Titans are a real good team, but Steelers are going to ultimately show them that you can't play a game like that against the Steelers and win.
Exactly. Yeah. That defense. We've talked about it weeks ago, could still potentially end the season as the best defense in the league.
Yeah, easily. So yeah, I got the Steelers in that one as well.
Gotcha.
We got the game you were talking about earlier, John. We got the Seahawks and Dolphins.
This would be interesting because the Seahawks have trouble. Well, a lot of West Coast teams have trouble going to the East Coast, and you got to go into that hot weather down in Miami. And the Seahawks typically have trouble against the Dolphins in Miami. So, I mean, this would be hard because Russell Wilson's hot, but he's got to cool down sometime. And if Byron Jones is back, because you're not going to throw 5 touchdowns a game. You're just not. 14 in 3 games, basically 5 a game. I think Russell Wilson cools down a little bit and Miami pulls out the upset. That's a home bit, but
if he does 5 touchdowns 3 games straight, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I don't see it happening either, based off of statistics.
And Carson would miss the game, so that's a big loss for the
that alligator roll against the Cowboys.
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean that definitely affects it as well because that run game was nice too.
Yep, typical Cowboys, by the way.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I don't know, man. I think I'm still gonna pick the Seahawks on that game. I'm gonna roll with Russell Mania.
I'm rolling Seattle too, but I don't think he'll throw 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna do 5 touchdowns or anything like that. If anything, it might be I don't know if it'll be a close game, but it'll be kind of a lower scoring game. It's not going to be like 30 points for the Seahawks or anything.
We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Next, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Chargers. I mean, I think I got the Buccaneers in this one, rolling through the Chargers.
Same.
Yeah. And I mean, the next one,
dealing with.
yeah, I mean, the next one's pretty much is the Ravens and the Washington No Names. I got the Ravens
especially coming
demolishing.
off that loss.
Yeah.
This team isn't losing 2 in a row.
Ravens easily.
Yeah.
Right.
Then you got the Cardinals and the Panthers.
This is interesting.
I think it'll be a close game, to be honest.
Me too.
I think the Cardinals are going to be angry after that loss. I think they're really going to take it to the Panthers. They're going to
let. You think so?
Yeah.
I also think they'll win. I just thought it'd be a little closer, but I can definitely see that.
Yeah.
The Cardinals coming out here and just fuck that. DeAndre Hopkins having 200 yards. You know.
Kyler Murray running around all over the place.
I don't see anything from Bridgewater that's impressive. Not a thing.
No.
Yeah.
He does not look good at all.
Mm-mm.
I mean, he didn't look super impressive whenever he was one of those games for the Saints either. He was just
He's a game manager.
Yeah, he was a pocket passer, doing it like playing the system. He's a system QB. Yeah, so I mean, I got the Cardinals winning that one as well. Then we got some 2-0-3 teams, the Vikings and the Texans. Somebody's got to win here.
I got the Texans.
The Eagles and Bengals that's not necessarily true.
You think the Vikings and Texans could tie?
I got the Texans in this one.
I think I got the Texans. Oh,
yeah.
Deshaun Watson is too good to be losing all these games.
Yeah.
It's a shame that Bill O'Brien is his coach.
Yeah. Yeah, I got the Texans as well.
Ship him to New England. Send him up here. We'll take care of him.
And like the Vikings, I don't know what their issue is. I know their defense is in shambles. I mean, it's hard to imagine that just the loss of like Stephon Diggs hurts the offense that badly.
You know, he almost ran 200 yards.
You got Dalvin Cook, you got Adam Thielen. Like, come on. Yeah, I mean, I still got the Texans. Next one's an easy one. We got Rams and Giants. I got the Rams in that one.
I got the Rams as well.
Yeah, this will be ugly. Really ugly.
It could be real ugly.
If you got that Rams defense, man, you're going to have a good fantasy week.
Yeah, exactly. You might want to pick them up if they're on the waiver wire. Got big 4:30 game, Patriots and Chiefs.
Oh, man.
I know you were excited to talk about this one, Vern.
Just because of how we played Seattle, I think damn near the same outcome. Lose by 5 or win the game on like a last second like touchdown to like take the lead type of shit. If you leave any time on the clock for Patrick Mahomes, you're losing the game. That's the way I done so. It's the modern day Tom Brady type of shit. Like, and that's just the way I see it. Like, if we have the ball last and it's a close game, could potentially win. I'm picking the Patriots. Just I can't help myself. It's not like we're that bad that it's unfathomable that we can win this game. But it's very, very unlikely. But I'm gonna still take the Patriots.
But if the Ravens couldn't do it in Baltimore, they got toyed with in Baltimore, and the Ravens are a better team. Do you think the Patriots, in Kansas City?
In Kansas City. With fans, because they're allowing fans in the stadium.
Yep.
I don't know if I could take my hat off, my Patriots hat off.
I understand that.
My brain is telling me Kansas City. My heart's telling me
Kansas City in this one.
You know,
the only thing that gives the Patriots a chance is Belichick scheming enough to try and take the ball out of Mahomes' hands by running the ball over and over and over. Newton, White, Burkhead, whoever's playing in the backfield that week that he picks up off the street.
It's all about that time of possession. Keep Pat Mahomes on the sideline. You know, he might come out and score a touchdown in 60 seconds, but if we get the ball for 12 minutes, score our touchdown, then he comes out, kicks a field goal. I'm just thinking, man, but like you said, Bill Belichick's got to be able to game plan this.
It's the only reason the Ravens lost. I mean, a lot of reasons, but they tried to outscore the Chiefs. Instead of outscoring them, they should have tried to, just like I said, take the ball out of Mahomes' hands and kind of slow the game
down. Try to pace
him. I think Belichick is smart enough to know that.
Right. Yeah. That's the only chance they have. I'm not saying it's a guarantee, trust me. It's very unlikely, but that's my pick.
All right. Next game we got the Bills and the Raiders. That one's kind of I got a lot of confidence in the Bills, but I've also
Me
seen a
too.
lot of good things out of the Raiders as well.
Coming off a
Um,
loss.
Coming off of a loss. But I mean, I think I'm going to give the edge to the Bills on this one. I think I'm going to pick the
Same.
Bills.
Me too.
I'm gonna go Raiders.
Raiders?
Oh, if Josh Jacobs and Darren Waller are healthy, I don't know the
Yeah.
status of them. They weren't 100% healthy against the Pats. They were not.
Yeah.
They need them healthy to beat. They need them healthy to beat anybody,
Realistically.
let alone the Bills. So
Is Henry Ruggs going to be healthy?
I don't think so. I think he's going to be out.
Yeah, because I know he was questionable.
I think
before.
Edwards is supposed to be out. They just have a lot of injuries, but I'm gonna go Raiders because now I think they can do the same thing. I think they can run the ball and keep the ball out of Josh Allen's hands.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I got not the Raiders in that one. I got the Bills rolling in that one pretty easily. And then the Monday night game is the Falcons and the Packers. We talked about that a little bit. I got old bad man Aaron Rodgers doing his thing again.
No faith in the Falcons.
No,
Zero faith.
You don't got to worry about blowing a lead in this one. You're already gonna be losing.
Yep.
You're gonna be playing from behind anyway. Maybe that's the way they can somehow win. Maybe if playing from behind from the start, maybe that'll kick them into gear or something.
There's
I don't know.
lead to lose.
Yeah, no pressure.
Garbage time fantasy points.
Yeah, I mean, is Julio gonna be available? Because I know that he was having hamstring issues. So I mean,
Like that.
I would imagine so. He's projected to play as of right now.
Okay.
Cool. Good. I have him on my team.
Me too.
Need it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I got the Packers in that one pretty easily.
I picked up Russell Gage just started hurt earlier this week, and he got hurt. I was like,
oh man, no,
come on, man.
Hey, what can you do?
Yeah.
It's fantasy.
Yeah, I mean that was the week 4 picks. We can roll into some other news before we kind of wrap up with the usual stuff here for the podcast.
Yep.
The Tampa Bay Lightning, congratulations to them. They won the Stanley Cup. They beat Dallas Stars.
Was it 4-2, right?
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I picked Tampa Bay to win the Stanley Cup here, right before they even started Game 1. They were just so fast. They were such a good team all around.
So hot.
Yeah, exactly. I know Dallas was really good too, but I just didn't think they had the speed that the Lightning had at that point. So yeah, congratulations to them. They won the Stanley Cup. Wish it was my Flyers, but hey, we'll be back next year. And also congratulations to your Lakers, Vern, and congratulations to the Miami Heat.
His Heat. I learned that he's a Miami.
Oh, I didn't know you were a Miami Heat fan.
Exactly.
Yeah, of course.
Nice.
So Heat fan, Lakers fan, Pats fan,
Miami
Miami
to have
fan.
you on.
Exactly. But me and him were talking whenever you got cut off there a little bit about how the Heat, on paper maybe they're underdog, but so was Giannis, or Giannis was the favorite. So I would not be surprised to see Miami come out here and end up we're 2-2 in the middle of the series. Oh shit, this could go either way.
Yeah, I mean back whenever before the playoffs kind of started, I chose Miami as my team rolling through. So I'm such a huge Jimmy Butler fan, and I love how they kind of built around him and everything. That whole team is just solid, in depth. The whole the bench is nice, the front five are nice, and it's just they're all around a good team. And I think, I mean, it's hard to give it. I mean, the Lakers are such a dominant squad when everything's rolling. When everything's clicking, the Lakers can be so dominant. But
the role players show up.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I know the Lakers have good defense, but Miami also they're all around. They can do it on both sides of the ball. But I mean, yeah, if Tyler Hero and everybody else can keep balling for Miami, I think it's going to be a good series. But I mean, I know they had some down games even against the Celtics a little bit.
I think the X factor is which AD shows up for the Lakers.
Yeah.
Because he tends to disappear from time to time. You don't know, when he's going to show up, and we've never seen him in the finals.
Right.
And if he's not, LeBron's not going to carry the entire team the entire series. At 35, he's just not.
Yeah.
He's not going to lead in points, rebounds, and assists like he's done
every
before.
game. Yeah.
So if AD is shook a little bit, you might see the Heat pull off the upset in this series if AD doesn't necessarily, show up.
Right?
Yeah.
Because who's going to be the third? You never know who. Is it going to be Kuzma? Is it going to be Caldwell Pope?
Yeah.
There's nobody on the Lakers aside from AD that's going to be the next man up that can carry them. There's nobody.
And so if nobody's on the bench like hot that night or even putting buckets in, it's going to be.
It's going to be a long night.
It's going to be a long night for us. I know, like you're saying, the Lakers' defense is still incredible. So you got to score points, but okay, so then you beat us by 10 instead of 20. It's just
and you can play great defense. Not to interrupt you, but you can play great defense all you want. But we saw watching the Heat, they knock down shots whether they're open or they're in their face.
Exactly.
And they've got so many 3-point shooters.
Oh yeah.
That you can have the Celtics and the Bucks were the two best defensive teams in basketball this year, and the Heat still made them look like child's play. And the Lakers played two of the worst defensive teams in the NBA in their last two rounds. So Lakers really haven't faced, and the Heat have one of the best defensive teams in the
NBA.
Will
be interesting,
so this would be interesting.
Oh man,
Lakers
I can't
haven't
wait.
played the defense like the Heat, in the playoffs, and the Heat have played the two best defenses. So it'll be interesting to see that, how the Lakers respond to that, because that's a lot of 3-point shooting, and that's what makes it tough to beat the Heat is it's not just one guy.
It's the whole team.
It's a whole, it's a whole group, and you don't know who.
Yeah.
So Duncan Robinson and Hero and Butler and Bam and that's overwhelming.
Even Goran, Dragic can start rolling. And that kind of leads into my point where, like, even against the Celtics is like the Heat are going to take you down to the buzzer. Like, they're not going to give up until the game is over. Like, it's just like the Celtics. Like, the Celtics would have a lead for a while, like for most of the game, and then towards the end they're gassed. The whole team's tired, and the Heat are still rolling. And then like they're still hungry. They're still cooking, and it's like they just kind of wait and see their opportunity to strike, and that's when they start rolling, and they keep the lead after that. And I mean, it's over from there. So I mean, I think the key for the Lakers to win is they got to play the full game. You can't cool down at any point. So I mean, it's gonna be interesting. I mean,
it's tomorrow night. When this airs, tomorrow. It'll be game one will be already over because this airs on Thursday. Here, but I can't wait to see this series, man. I'm so excited for it. We'll see where we are by next Tuesday.
But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all the news. We'll roll up into the bias bubble now. I mean, you're the guest on the show, John. So if you want, you can talk about your teams, what you're excited for, all the news that's going on. And your neck of the woods.
We haven't covered yet.
Yeah.
How's the bias bubble work? Just which team? Just any team?
Just any any of your teams, like that you're any news or something you're excited about.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I just got done talking about the Heat. Obviously I'm excited about the Heat, all that they bring, I've been talking about it on my show every week, kind of annoying my co-host jokingly to put respect on Spo's name because he doesn't get the respect that he deserves.
He's a Hall of Famer.
In 10 years, he has 5 NBA Finals. This is 5th NBA Finals in 10 years.
Yeah.
And this is first without LeBron and Wade and all them.
Right.
But still, that's impressive. In 10 years, 5 NBA Finals. He's won 2. Could potentially be 3rd. He's been a really good coach for a long time that's underappreciated. And, I'm excited for my Heat. Like I said, I know they're not favored, but they weren't favored against the Bucks. They won. They weren't favored against the Celtics. They won. And the Lakers, really good with LeBron and AD, but outside of that, who can you rely on? I know they have good
Exactly.
players. Who
Yeah.
can you rely on to say if AD or LeBron have an off night, this
Who's
guy
going
is
next man up?
Whereas the Heat, you don't have to worry about that because there's always a guy. There's always somebody.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I just love how like it seems like the Heat are so tight. Like they seem like such a tight group. Like Jimmy Butler's like the big brother. He's like kind of like teaching all everybody else. Like I don't know. It just seems like they have such a tight bond on that team that's what's kind of like keeping them in all these games. Like they trust in the next man. Like if someone like what you're saying, if someone's off, they can trust in the next dude to come up here and start dropping points and dropping buckets. And I mean the Lakers have some depth to them, but yeah, it's like what you're saying. Who's going to be able to drop like 20 something points if AD's not or if LeBron's not? Is it going to be Kuzma? Is it going to be Rondo? Like I don't see Rondo doing that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's all I got for my my bias bubble. What about, I guess, whichever one you use next for your bias?
You can go ahead, Vern.
Oh man, we covered a lot of Lakers and Patriots stuff today. Like I said, I'm looking forward to Kansas City game next week, and I'm looking forward to these finals. Like Braun's sitting here averaging 26.7 throughout the whole playoffs. AD almost 29. Like you guys were saying just now, they're carrying the Lakers offensively. Without those two, without either one of them, it's going to be tough to win this series. So we'll see what happens. Like it's going to be a long series. I don't think it'll be 4 or 5 games. It's going to be a tough.
It's going to go the distance.
Grind them out 6 or 7 game series. And then, like I was saying about New England, things are going nice. Things a lot better than I honestly thought they were. But that's before we acquired Cam Newton type of shit that I'm talking about. So like, it's 2-1 right now. About to play the 3-0 Chiefs. So we'll see how that goes. I really think we have a chance to win the game, but it's also in Kansas City, so we'll see how that goes. That's about all we got rolling right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have too much to talk about. I mean, last week I didn't really talk about much at all. I wasn't going to give the Eagles any attention last week. I was like, they just need to fix it, and that's it. And they kind of trolled me a little bit. They're like, we're not going to win, but we're not going to lose. We're going to tie. So, I mean, we kind of improved. Like, no, you didn't. I mean, I don't know, man. It's these Eagles got me messed up right now. At this point, like I don't know, it just seems like they're playing with no identity at this point. Like they don't know who they are. They don't know what kind of team they want to be. I've seen so many different things over the past 3 weeks. Like when we played Washington the first week, they came out the first half firing on all cylinders, throwing deep balls, and they were clicking, getting touchdowns. And then that team hasn't been seen since. So it's like I'm not really worried about the defense at this point. I'm worried about the offense because they're not doing anything. They can't move the ball whenever they're on offense, and that's what worries me the most. Especially against we got a tough string of games coming up here, so we could easily be like 0-6-1. Like no joke. Let me pull it up here. I know we got San Fran this week. We got the Steelers the next week. We got the Ravens the week after that. And then we got the Giants, Cowboys, Giants, Browns. And then we play Seahawks, Packers, and Saints 3 weeks in a row. Like this year is gonna suck if they don't get it turned around.
Yeah, you're right. Your schedule does lighten up after these next three games or so. Your schedule lightens up a lot because you start to get the Giants and teams like that. So if you can survive these next 3 games by going maybe 2-1, then I think you're all right because once the schedule lightens up, it'll give you time to get right. It'll give you time to get healthy. And by the time, all that comes around, then I think, your team might be able to start rolling and clicking.
Have some players back. I mean, I keep telling myself that like maybe they're like maybe it's down because there was no OTAs and like they're kind of treating the first couple weeks as like a preseason, like evaluating talent and such. But I don't know, man. I think the only thing that's kind of holding us in place right now is because the rest of the NFC East is garbage at this point. So I mean that kind of gives us a chance. Because I think we're only like a half game out of first place right now. So
without a win.
Without a win, exactly. Like how does that even happen? So I mean, there's really not a lot to talk about other than that. Other than once again, I want to relay the message: fix it, fix this shit, Doug.
What about I know it's your bias bubble, but I'm curious. What are your thoughts on Billy Donovan going to the Bulls?
Oh yeah, we kind of touched on that a little bit last week. I'm excited to be honest. I was super excited before the hire because it kind of got Garpax out of there. I was so sick and like just like the rest of the Chicago Bulls fan base, I was so tired of Garpax running this organization into the ground. It seemed like they didn't care about winning at all. They were just like care about keeping their jobs at that point. And I'm so glad that like Jerry Reisendorf is finally like, all right, we need to get these guys out of here. We need to care about winning, try to build a team. And I think Billy Donovan is the first coach since Thibodeau where we actually hired someone with experience, and we locked him down. I think we gave him like a 3 or 4 year deal already. But I mean, he's had some good success with OKC since he came into the league. I mean, I'm excited. He has a good rapport with a lot of stars throughout the league. A lot of people like him. He's a players coach, as well as the new GM we hired. Apparently, he's really good as well. I don't know. The future's hopefully looking bright for us because it doesn't seem like we're really rebuilding it all. We're just going to be retooling and trying to like hit free agency pretty hard here this year and next year because there's a lot of big free agents coming in next year, I believe. That's when like Giannis is open. I know AD is open after this season. But I mean, there's a lot of big names that are going to be on the free agent market here after the 2021 season, I'm pretty sure. So, I mean, hopefully the future is bright for the Bulls. I mean, anything's going to be better than the past couple years under like Fred Hoiberg and Jim Boylan. It's been abysmal. So I mean, there's a couple bright spots like Kobe White. I don't know if they're gonna keep Levine or not. If they're gonna build around Levine, that's hard to say. But I think as far as that goes, pretty much everybody else on the roster is kind of expendable at this point. They're gonna be using them to kind of build the team. So I don't know. It's interesting. I thought I was gonna be having a lot of excitement around the Eagles this year. That was going to be the team that was going to keep me rolling, but I guess not. So here's hoping. Here's waiting for hockey season to roll around for the Flyers to do well again. So I don't know, man. So that's pretty much all I have to talk about in the bias bubble. So I mean that only leaves one more thing, Vern, and that is our that's our crazy sports fact of the podcast.
I love it.
Every week. Do you have one this week, Vern?
Yeah, I got a simple one. It's an old-timey basketball one.
Okay, what you got?
So it's probably not that hard to believe, but it's until 1936. Okay, so up until this point, the jump ball took place at the center court after every single made basket.
Really?
After every single made basket.
I didn't know that.
They changed the rule in 1936, apparently. I was like,
oh, that would be awful.
That would be terrible to watch. I would not watch that shit.
No, I feel like the game would go so slow if you had to do that every time.
Right. That's all, though.
I had a basketball one here as well, actually. It's a college basketball one. Alaska and Maine are the only two states in the U.S. to never send a school to the NCAA basketball tournament held in March.
Wow.
Alaska doesn't have any Division I schools in the state, and Maine apparently is just not good at basketball.
Oh, that's kind of crazy, but like I didn't know Alaska didn't even have any D1 schools, but I mean it's way the fuck up there, so.
Yeah, I mean, so I guess that makes sense. Nobody wants to just send their kids to school in Alaska. Like we're gonna pay to.
Or if they do, it's not for it's not for basketball.
Yeah, exactly. Like nobody goes to Alaska just to play basketball.
Right. Nice. I like it.
Yeah,
Good fact. Good fact.
we had a pretty good show this week, barring some minor technical setbacks. But I mean,
good.
yeah, I mean, we want to thank John for being on here, man. We really appreciate you coming on, sharing your thoughts on the season.
Thank you so much for putting on here today.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
of course. You know, like I said, just send me a link whenever the show is up Thursday, and I'll definitely share it on my pages and share it all around I can. Try and help y'all out. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. You want to plug all your stuff one more time for us?
Yeah. So you can check me out. Podbean. Go to Podbean. Search Perch Sports Talk. PERCHED Sports Talk, and you'll find my show. You'll find my Journey with the Jays show. If you're looking for my Journey with the Jays show, you can look, find it on YouTube. Obviously, just search Journey with the Jays. Facebook, search Journey with the Jays. Twitter, Journey with the Jays 3. Instagram, Journey with the Jays. It's easy to find us on all the typical social media. So now, like I said, and then we'll be on Real 1100 AM in Atlanta.
Right.
You can download their app and listen to us on there Thursday nights, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern time. You can check out our hour show on there. So yeah, you're going to check that out. For
That's
us,
awesome,
help us out. So yeah.
Awesome.
That's super exciting,
That's
dude. I'm excited for you. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
man.
Hopefully we can get you back on here sometime in the future, man.
Yep.
Definitely. We really enjoyed having you on tonight, man.
Yeah, thank you. A little fun fact. Before I found Real 1100, I tried to get our show on Merrill Reese's radio station.
Really?
I forget what. It's here in PA. Yeah, tried to get it on his radio. He didn't answer because they weren't in the office over the summer during the pandemic and stuff.
Yeah.
But I gotta try him again to see if I can get a hold of him, just so I can talk to Merrill Reese.
Yeah.
That would be because
legendary voice. For
I
Eagles
love
radio.
that voice so much.
Oh yeah.
It's just
it's
my
classic.
Ears.
Hopefully you do, man. Hopefully you do.
Like yeah, he's like the official voice of the Eagles at this point.
Right.
Yes.
So like even whenever you go to the link during the stadium, he's like the announcer like in the stadium, like about concessions and everything. Like he's built into the Eagles organization at this point. He got a Super Bowl ring when we won the Super Bowl and everything. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's awesome, man. And I'm really excited for you, man. I'm glad everything's working out with the podcast. You getting the radio show up and running.
Yeah.
It's inspiring.
Yeah, it is. It's super inspiring. Especially like you've been working hard and being consistent all these years, doing your thing, Yeah, it kind of gives some hope for some small guys like us doing the same.
Yeah, I mean, how whenever your show starts to take off in your mind and stuff like that, and and you need a little, you need help with maybe some guests, some famous people for guests. Just hit me up, of course. I know a lot of people, so I can always help you out and, send some people your way and try and.
Yeah, man, we really appreciate it. And we'll definitely promote you as much as possible as well. I mean, anybody that's a friend of this show is a friend of ours, and we're going to be promoting you just as much as like if you help us, you scratch our back, we scratch yours, But like we just want to try to help everybody succeed. We're all in this together.
That's how we are. That's exactly how we are.
Exactly. You gotta help everybody out, I mean, as far as that, it been a great show. Next week we have an exciting show as well, Vern. We got Philly 500 on next week from YouTube. He's a content creator for the Eagles. He's gonna be on next Tuesday. And I mean, until then, check out Squad Pod Sports on Twitter. Always posting on there. Check out the regular Squad Pods podcast. Every Friday, we're releasing new episodes, as well as the sports on Thursday. And we just want to thank everybody for watching. And thank you once again, John, for being on this week. We really appreciate it, man.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And thanks, everybody, for watching. Have a good week.
Yep. See you guys.